All right, dear ladies and gentlemen, we have a very important topic today, so I would like to start on time, and thank you so much for joining us on time. So once again, my name is Anna Peiko, and I'm here to welcome you to the 5th Grow, Learn, Connect webinar. So I just wanted to remind everyone that this session is being recorded, and we will share the recording with you next week. Now, unfortunately, we won't be able to open your mics today. We have a very large audience today, and we're very glad to see you all. Thank you so much for joining. And yet, we would still like you to participate. So please take a moment to locate the chat box if you haven't found it yet. So the chat box is in the bottom right corner of your screen. And when sending messages, please make sure to send them to everyone, right? Not to just all participants or attendees, but to everyone. Now, if you will go to participants, please click on participants. You will be able to see the icon, like a very small icon, and I'm showing it right now with an arrow on my slide. This is called the feedback icon. When you open it, it will show you different options such as yes, no, too fast, too slow, applause, laughter, etc. So our presenter today, Margaret Jackson, would like to interact with you in some way, even though we won't be able to let you speak. Okay. Now, I wanted to remind you about our upcoming webinars. On February 18th, we will host Yelena Avery. She's a GLC Master Trainer, and she will talk about how to work with content experts on converting classroom courses to online. Another webinar that I wanted to mention is called Advanced Online Facilitation Skills. Now, you're probably all familiar with the Engaging Participants Online webinar. So Advanced Online Facilitation Skills take that webinar to the next level. It will teach participants advanced web conferencing features and techniques such as breakout rooms, polling, whiteboards to make sure that your online training are interactive, engaging, and that participants are really learning. So this webinar is meant to be interactive, and participation will be limited to 30 attendees. So if you would like to be notified of the upcoming sessions, please go to the GLC website and sign up to be invited. And I will send the link in just a couple of minutes. Now, another announcement I wanted to make is that the Principles for Learning are now available in 5 languages. We already had English and French, and we have just added Spanish, Brazilian Portuguese, and Arabic. So if these are your native languages and you prefer reading materials in one of those languages, please again navigate to the GLC website and download your copy today. And of course, please consider becoming a signatory to the GLC Principles for Learning to demonstrate your commitment to the highest standards of training and delivery. And now I would like to welcome our speakers today. Joanna Romero has 8 years of experience in SME banking and banking on women advisory at IFC, and 14 years in management consulting and private sector development. And our main speaker today is Margaret Jackson. I guess you all know Margaret Jackson. She has over 25 years of experience in SME capacity building, and she has every single certification I can think of. She's an IFC Master Trainer. She's an IFC Instructional Designer. She's an IFC LPI Assessor and Trainer. She's also an LPI Certified Online Learning Designer and Facilitator. And of course, she's a signatory to the GLC Principles for Learning. So we will start with Joanna. Joanna, thank you so much for joining us today, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It is an honor for me to be among educators and SME and entrepreneurship development professionals. I'm delighted to introduce our speaker and our topic for today's webinar. Before that, I would like to share a little bit about some of the work that we're doing at IFC with regards to capacity building of women SMEs. Over the last several years, I've had the privilege to advise IFC's client banks on how to better serve women entrepreneurs by providing a holistic value proposition that encompasses not just financial services, but also non-financial services to help build their capacity. In one of those projects in Luoyang in China, I came across this proverb, and I'm not sure if you're seeing my screen now, but it says, "Women hold up half the sky." It's a powerful proverb that affirms that women can do just as much as men can. It's a reminder that when we create products and services, we must endeavor to understand who we are designing for and what unique challenges we are addressing. Anna, can you just give me a thumbs up if you're seeing this screen now?
I'm seeing it, Joanna.
Okay, excellent.
Let's go
excellent.
ahead.
Why is it important to plan and deliver training with women in mind? I'm offering you 4 reasons, and I know Margaret will share her insights as well. But first, because half of the world population is female, and I encourage you to aim for 50% female participants and female trainers in every course that you design and deliver. Women are also a powerful force in the global economy. Globally, 1 in 3 businesses are owned by women, and in some regions like East Asia and the Pacific and Latin America, women own about half of those businesses. Women are decision makers. On average, 89% of women around the world say they have shared or primary responsibility for household buying decisions. And finally, there is a saying, a wise saying, that if you meet the expectation of women, you often exceed the expectation of men. Perhaps generally speaking, women tend to hold people and experiences to a higher standard, or simply we just pay more attention to detail. Therefore, as you plan and deliver your next training, I encourage you to consider women's specific needs and preferences. What are some of those needs and preferences? Some of IFC's focus areas are to expand women entrepreneurship and women's access to finance. And so we are very cognizant of the barriers to their growth and development. I would like to share some of these challenges with you as they represent opportunities for capacity building for women. First, a woman is more likely to choose non-capital intensive sectors like retail trade, services, and hospitality. Can you introduce her to education pathways that lead to highly profitable sectors such as manufacturing or technology? A woman is less likely to seek external finance to grow her business. Can you help her prepare for and estimate her financing needs so when she approaches a bank, she can speak their language? A woman is less confident in her capability to start or succeed in business. Can you help her build soft skills like leadership, negotiation skills, so she can be comfortable starting, running, and growing her business? A woman is network constrained with smaller, less diverse networks. Can you provide her with networking opportunities that introduce her to like-minded entrepreneurs, to potential buyers, suppliers, mentors, and innovators? A woman is less likely to have a mentor or a role model. Can you connect her with mentors and visible role models who can encourage and guide her? A woman is influenced by social and cultural norms and laws. She is time constrained because she has to balance her household responsibilities with her business. Can you adapt and offer her flexibility? Because a woman is a powerful force, it would behoove attention to their needs and preferences. It is the right thing to do, and there is a business case for doing so. As an example, I would like to share with you a recent study that IFC had conducted with FMO, the Dutch Entrepreneurial Development Bank. This study was published at the end of last year, so it's very new. And it is based on a survey of 34 banks globally. It aimed to generate insights on banks' non-financial services practices, why they offer non-financial services, what types of non-financial services they offer, and how are they reaching and engaging women SMEs. We would all agree in this call that when I say women SMEs need more than money to thrive, right? Women need more than money to thrive. They also need access to information, access to skills and training, networking opportunities and markets, as well as technology alongside financing to help them grow and reach their potential. Banks are also recognizing this and are integrating these non-financial services or business development support into their value proposition to women. Let's look at training, for example. Our study found, again, based on the survey of banks, that 94% are providing training to SMEs, and this is a significant jump from 76% in 2014 when we did a similar survey. And the modalities are also broadening. Banks are offering training videos. They're offering blended learning programs that combine in-person and online sessions and tools. And we have seen, at least from our clients who we interact with, that the online NFS offerings or non-financial services offerings of banks have been expanding as a result, or have expanded as a result of COVID, and we're only going to see this expand so much more. Another finding that I would like to share with you is that when banks offer non-financial services, partnerships play an increasingly prominent role. And the reason is simple. Banks do not have the expertise to deliver non-financial services such as training. So they partner with organizations such as yourselves to be able to deliver this in a very effective way. So I encourage you to look into this as an opportunity to expand your outreach and engagement with women SMEs as you grow as trainers and facilitators. Why are banks doing this? Why are banks offering NFS? You might ask. As I mentioned earlier, it is the right thing to do, but more importantly, for a bank's perspective, there is a strong business case. The study that we've recently done found that well-integrated non-financial services for women SMEs yield a positive return on investment within 1 to 2 years. So this is quite impressive. And this is driven primarily by improved customer behavior. The study found that non-financial services help women become better borrowers, better savers, more loyal, and less risky customers. So at this point, I'd like to introduce Margaret. I know that Anna had already mentioned all of her qualifications, which are quite impressive. But I just wanted to add one thing that caught my eye in her CV, and that is she has a strong passion about educating women, and she is also a coach and mentor to young women. So we have, no better person to speak about today's topic but Margaret Jackson. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Joanna. I'd like to say a big thank you for the introduction to both Joanna and Anna. And I'm also excited to be here. At this moment, I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to be doing this with my fellow training facilitators. I always love it when I'm given the chance to work with my own. And I'd like to say to all of you that this is going to be a time for sharing ideas. So I will throw in a few ideas, and I would want you to join in. Please participate. Use the chat box. That's the reason why we are here. I want to hear from all of you. I want to know what you've been doing in the field, because we have all been working, and I know we have different things to learn from each other. And so I would like to move straight into this and to say I have about 1 hour to do this. So I would want you to work with me so that we are able to achieve what we have set out to do. And I think Joanna has made my work very easy. She's really set the tone. Thank you very much, Joanna. And I love quotes. Oh, those who know me know I love quotes. And I love this particular quote by Michelle Obama. But before I go on, I'd like to put up my video so that all of you can benefit from what is going on. I know we have different internet access. I'll come back and I need to answer your question. So please, I just wanted you to see who Margaret Jackson is. So why do I love this quote by Michelle Obama? And I tell everyone, I love it so much because, in 2019, publication by the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, the Population Division, this came out in the year 2019. It was estimated that the share of women in the year 2017 was, what do you think it was? Please, if you have an idea, put it into the chat box for me. What's the percentage of women on earth by the year 2017, the share of women? I want to know. I want to know. Anna, when they tell us, please give me an idea of what people have put in the chat box, because I really want to know your idea.
Okay, here's one answer, 51% from Adiola. 49% from Bowenson. Graham thinks it's 55%.
Oh, wow.
I guess we're navigating towards the middle.
Yeah, to be honest with you, you are all around the percentage. You are not too far from it, because the study showed that it was 49.6%. So it tells us that, thank you all very much for your contributions, but it tells us that we need everyone on board to make this world a better place. Now, let's take a moment to look at the objectives for this session. I want us to look at the objectives for this session. By the end of this session, can you see my screen clearly?
Yes, I can see your screen. Nadia
yes.
also confirmed. Okay, yes,
okay.
Yes, everyone can see it. Great.
Okay, so by the end of this session, you should be able to identify actions that encourage women to attend programs. That's not the only thing you should be able to do. You should also be able to identify actions that encourage women to attend, recognize the actions that make women comfortable during our program. So it's also about recognizing the actions that will make women stay. It is one thing bringing women in, but another ensuring that they stay in the workshop. So those are the things that we'll be looking at. And the last but not the least, we'll also look at, by the end, you should be able to encourage women to attend your program. So when they come in, you settle them and what you should be doing so that at the end, you'll be encouraging women to attend your program. So that leads me to the topic. It is encouraging women to attend programs. Then we move on to making women comfortable during those programs. And finally, what to do to bring them in. What to do to bring them in. So now I know you all came in with expectations. I would want you in the chat box to write for me at least one expectation, your one expectation for this workshop. This webinar, what do you hope to take away?
And just a reminder, when you're writing your expectations,
I need your help here.
Yes, please send your expectations please send your messages to everyone. Make sure that you're saying it to everyone. All right. Let's see. Still waiting. Know what it takes to be an exciting facilitator? Adiola, I want to know how to help women succeed better in business. From Roni, how to invite women to come to the sessions. Here's another one, to learn more about how to make training programs attractive to women. How to succeed as a facilitator. I want to hear more gender inclusive. I want to hold more gender inclusive programs. Find out what What will sustain women's interest in learning? To understand the challenges women face in training and mitigations. How to keep women engaged during training. Okay,
Wow.
to develop more training programs that are inclusive and diverse. So we have many more.
Yeah, so I catch the drift. So I know that I think you won't be disappointed. I think you won't be disappointed. Now let's look at this. Help me. Let's take a poll. We are going to take a poll. And it's about how often do you consider gender when planning your training program. And I'm going to open the panel for polls very soon. And I want you to share with me to be as open as you can. And now I have opened the poll. So please answer. Let's take about a minute to answer the poll. Thank you very much.
And the question is, how often do you consider gender when planning your training
how often
program?
do you? Yes, and it is never, rarely, occasionally, frequently, or very frequently. So let's hear your thoughts.
So lots of people unfortunately didn't get a chance to answer, but the majority have responded that they do it either very frequently or frequently. So at least 20 people do it very frequently and 20 frequently. 11 said occasionally, and some people actually responded that they never consider women when planning their training programs.
Okay. That's okay. That's why we are here. So we are here to discuss with those who do it and those who do not do it at all. So let's see. We'll all share ideas. So if you don't particularly do it, don't worry. That's why we are here. We will sort ourselves out as training. So now I think we need to move on to on how to restore your panel. I'm going to share with you how to restore your panel. So depending on the device you're using, there are two options for restoring your panel so that you can go back to chat. So let's look at the first option. Go to the right-hand side of your screen, after the presentation, and you will see participants, maybe chat and Q&A. It's a Q&A. Then there's an arrow here. If you click on the last arrow, it will expand your panel and you should be able to chat. Otherwise, you can also do this. You can also go to the right-hand side, but you will see the participants. On top, you have participants, and below, participants written. So there's participants written below the icon for participants, and then chat. Just click on the arrow for chat, and it will expand your panel and restore it so that you can do that. You can start chatting if you don't know how to navigate your way around it. Thank you very much. Now, shall we move on then? So why women? And I think Joanna spoke a lot about why women. Why do I want to talk about, I'm honing in on women. Why do I want to talk more about women in this session? Here are a few reasons. According to the World Bank Enterprise Survey in 2019, women own 34% of private businesses globally. Yes, including almost 6 million formal SMEs in the developing world. And the Boston Consulting Group analysis found that if women and men participated equally, please listen to this, if we participated equally as entrepreneurs, this could boost the global economic growth by 25 to 5 trillion US dollars. Wow. This report came out in 2019. And additionally, when women cross over into the male-dominated sectors, their businesses have been found to be as profitable as men. This was a report that came out from the World Bank Gender Innovation Lab Policy Issue 12. And this was in the year 2015. And the research was conducted in Uganda and Ethiopia. I'm sure you are saying, wow. It wowed me when I also read this. But you see, despite these numbers, women are underrepresented as participants in training programs. The challenge then is to find ways for those of us who work in this field to make it easier or possible for women to attend training, and also to enable them feel comfortable enough in the classes so that they finish them. You see, it's one thing to bring women into class. It's another thing to ensure that they finish. And it's another thing to ensure that when they leave, they would want to come back for more. If you would want women to come back for more of your training program, please go down and give me a yes. I would like to see those who want more women in their training program. And I would want you, Adiola says yes, she wants more women. But I want you to tell me some of the benefits that you think you would get, or the benefits that society will get for bringing more women into our training room. Please start writing in the chat box. What is the benefit of bringing more women to training? What are the benefits? I want to know.
And everyone responded yes. Yes, as women empower communities, intellectual thought leadership. When more women are trained, the society does better as a whole because women, and I guess the sentence was not completed, they train others well, various perspectives. It gets more reflective, cozy, informal, less stressful. Good insights. Family and community benefits. More diverse. Women lack the knowledge. Women help grow the society.
Anna, there are more coming in, but I think I need to move on. I'm happy
yes,
that I'm getting this sort of reaction. Yes, so it means we are on the same page, you know. Yes, it enhances the quality of your training sessions because you become intentional about everything you do. You plan and you make sure you leave no stone unturned. And also, there's a lot of women entrepreneurs out there who need training. So you are able to make good use of the untapped female market. And it helps finally to improve the place of women in the world. After all, if it improves the place of women in the world, it improves the world as a whole because we realize that there are about 49.6. It's almost about 50-50. So why leave others behind? Thank you all very much for your contribution. So now let's move straight into encouraging women to attend our programs. Are you ready to go on this journey with me? If you are, please type yes in the chat box for me. Are you ready? Are you ready to go on to this journey with me? I see the yeses. I see you are. Please fasten your seatbelt. We are just about to take off. So before training, what are some of the actions that you take before your training program to ensure that you attract women into your training program? I want to know, please type in the chat box for me. What are some of the actions that you take to ensure that women attend your training program? You attract them. You want to attract them.
Well, here's one answer. Be prepared and know your topic. Build a relationship with women. Be excited. Make it relevant for them. Maybe provide food, refreshments. Be mindful and communicate. I tell them we would close early so they can go back home to their children. Be aware of their schedule, empathy. Be aware of the time. Be more flexible.
Thank you. Now, and I think for every question, we'll take about 10 answers. And, well, it depends. Let's see how time. Yes, and I always say, let's start with conducting a training needs assessment. You see, conducting a TNA would encourage women to attend your training program. How so? You see, conducting a TNA will enable the facilitator, yourself, obtain the opinion and preferences of your female participants regarding time, duration, schedule of the training program. You see, that will also enable you to plan the training program to suit their needs. I want to go back to the study that Joanna mentioned early on with FMO, the IFC study with FMO. You know, I want to touch on what KCB in Kenya has done. KCB in Kenya established Biashara Club in the year 2008 as the NFS, the non-financial service arm of its business banking division. You know what they did? In exchange for an annual membership of 10,100 Kenyan shillings, This club offers members a range of networking events, capacity building, and training on management fundamentals like, let's name them, financial management, human resources, inventory, and other topics. And listen, the icing on the cake, and exposure trips to countries with potential trading opportunities. How did KCB get here? You know, by hearing directly from women entrepreneurs. So KCB did a training needs assessment. KCB spoke to the potential target group. So they paid this amount, which is an equivalent of $100, and they benefit, and it makes them happy. And look at what KCB did for them in the COVID period. In response to COVID-19, the club launched webinars to help members navigate the dynamics of remote working and accessing finance. You know, training programs were also relevant to the needs of the women. So, wow, I'm sure some of you are saying, but we are not KCB, but we are consultants. The KCBs of this world and our clients call us. We should be selling these ideas to them. We should be telling them the benefits and how it will help women. So please, if you have done this before with your clients, type yes in the chat box. I want to know those who are already doing this sort of Q&A. You see, we also should be thinking about flexibility in class scheduling. This is with respect to child responsibility. We all know that the amount of time women spend in most cultures or on household duties and caregiver duties is threefold that of men, especially in certain cultures. So as you plan and you want your scheduling to be flexible, you should be considering these facts. Is face-to-face learning the most accessible, effective, and cost-efficient approach for participants? Because now there's online learning. So now we need to consider these facts. And you also need to consider, will participants feel comfortable with remote and digital training? You know, it's easy for most of us to say now the world has gone to digital, so all of us should. But if you do a good needs assessment, you should be asking these questions, and you should be asking yourself, would participants feel comfortable with remote and digital training? Are participants digitally literate? It's also important. Do they also trust digital sources? This is something you should also consider. And you should also consider what is the cost of internet connectivity and who controls access to digital tools. Is permission needed, and from whom? These are some of the questions that you need to ask yourself. And you should also ask yourself, I want it to be flexible. Is blended learning the option? And you should also ask yourself, which model of blended learning? Will it be the model that combines online tools and resources with limited number of in-person workshops, or the one with an instructor-led facilitator and maybe information on a portal somewhere that they will go redo their homework and come back to meet the facilitator? So these are questions that we need to ask ourselves. What I would like to say though is that blended learning means a lot to our women entrepreneurs. Why do I say this? I say this because women often juggle multiple responsibilities, and the flexibility offered by blended learning digital components combined with the opportunity to learn, share, and ask questions in an interactive environment can meet several needs. Access to supportive networks and mentor figures, access to financial literacy support, and access to time-saving business management technology. Yeah. I hear others saying technology proficiency is the challenge for most women. That's why I'm saying let's look at these challenges and let's make sure that we give our women, the women we train, what is best for them. So KCB Bank in Kenya, for example, partnered with African Management Institute. And this institute is a leading provider in Africa of scalable solutions for skills and enterprise development. And they partnered with them to deliver Grow Your Business, a blended learning program which focused on 3 key curriculum areas. And these were self and people management, project finance and customer and market market management, and specialized training in business development and onboarding. And in 2018, participants in your Grow Your Business program, listen to this, they reported a more positive outlook towards KCB as a partner in their growth and development. Over 90%, yes, over 90% of participants also reported adoption of better business practices, improvements in management and leadership skills. Wow. So I want you to consider these things that have been done in other countries so that we can also, when we're thinking of making our training flexible, think about this. Whoa, I love this. Dress requirements and restrictions. Tell them, if you are going to have activities that are big goals, and so dresses may not work, tell them ahead of time. I always say, chat with your participants even about 2 or 3 times before they come to class. Tell them the necessary things. So by the time your women come to you, by the time the women come to you, you realize that these women are really, they feel comfortable because they feel they know you because you have communicated with them. So please communicate dress requirements. How many of us communicate dress requirements and restrictions? I want to know. Please, if you do, just give me a yes. And then let's look at permitting. Oh, yes, thank you very much. I see from Guinea, yes, that's good. It's good to inform women. And it's good to inform everybody. It's good to inform everybody. And sometimes even the room may be a bit too cold for them. Ask them to bring their shawls and their things to cover themselves up. And tell women beforehand. Sometimes they want to know, there's nobody to take care of my children. Can I bring my child to the workshop? If you do, let them know beforehand. At Rainbow Consult, we did this about a year and a half back. And I want to share with you the story of Adiola Babatunde. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Adiola Babatunde. And this is Adiola's story. I want you to stay back, relax, and enjoy Adiola's story.
This is Adiola's story. I was facilitating a training session for some women entrepreneurs in Lagos, Nigeria, when one of my participants, a very heavily pregnant woman, approached me. She mentioned that she had seen on social media that I organized a training of trainer and certification program for facilitators in Accra, Ghana. She expressed a desire to attend my next session, even though she would have a newborn baby with her at that time. I guaranteed her that we would do all in our power to ensure that both she and her baby would be comfortable during the TOT. And so, with that assurance, she hopped onto a plane with her baby to Accra. At the airport, we made sure to have a member of staff on site to pick both her and her baby up and to ensure that they settled comfortably in the hotel before the training program started. We also gave her frequent breaks and had a baby bassinet with us in the training room so that baby could take a nap right next to mommy. We even got a nanny to help her with childcare during the training session. Adiola passed the certification process and later got invited to be an IFC master trainer. This may not have been possible if her needs were not considered.
Thank you very much. This is Adiola's story. I was sad when I realized that some of you could not watch it, but it was allowing Adiola and telling Adiola and giving Adiola that assurance that you can come to Ghana. Adiola flew all the way from Nigeria, Lagos to Ghana, and we made sure Adiola was comfortable. Adiola was given frequent breaks. Adiola had someone to take care of baby while she was in class. And now Adiola's baby has a Ghanaian name. I think Adiola's baby is a Kweku. And we are proud at Rainbow Consult. If we had not given Adiola the chance, Adiola wouldn't have become an IFC master trainer. Adiola tells me he's Kweku baby. Adiola is now a master trainer for IFC. So imagine the number of Adiolas out there who haven't gotten the opportunity to become the best that they can ever become because nobody gave them a chance, because they have children, and nobody said you can bring a child to the training room. We are proud that through this initiative, Adiola is now a master trainer, and Africa and IFC has gained a master trainer. So please think about this carefully as you organize your training, and use gender balanced advertisement materials. Don't put only males or only females. Sometimes we make that mistake of having only males for, let's say, a course on finance for non-finance managers. And then if it's emotional intelligence, we have a picture of a woman. Please mix them. I would like to ask you a question. It is not only the advertisement material, but also where do you advertise? When you want women to attend your training, when you want to attract women, please type for me in the chat box. Where do you advertise?
While everyone is typing, I will just read a message from Adiola. Thank you all. I was very happy that Rainbow Consult made me feel comfortable. As far as advertisements is concerned, women magazines, says Roni. Equity.
Yes.
Do we have more answers?
No.
Again, women magazines, social media, women groups.
Yes. Yeah.
Social joints.
You are all so You are all so spot on. And Anna, thank you very much. You see, social media, even when you're using social media, ask yourself, in my country, if I'm advertising for a training in my country, which of the platforms do women use and lot? And make sure you advertise more. And I know Instagram, it's 51% to 49%, where men and women are concerned. Women, 51% of women are on Instagram. So these are things that you have to consider. I'm so happy. I hear Pinterest as well. Yes, you see, so these are things that we have to think. We have to be intentional about how to bring women in. I think we've spoken a lot about how to bring women in, but let's look at how to make women comfortable during our program. Do you really want to go on? Are you ready to continue? If you are and you are enjoying it, please give me a yes. Oh, I see the yeses coming in thick and fast, so let's move on. So now tell me, during training, what are some of the things a trainer can do to make women feel comfortable? Now type in the chat box. Let's do this for a minute. Anna? So as soon as the answers start coming in, would like to know what others are saying.
Yes, I stand by, Margaret.
Thank you very much, Anna. Thank you very much, Anna.
Of course, thank you. All right, use gender-based examples. Ask for feedback. Tell good stories, taking contributions from men and women equally. Case studies. Appreciate women and their contribution. Engage them through stories. Use gender-based language. Focus on everybody. Personally acknowledge and give space to speak up. Keep the training short so they don't start running late. Make them believe in themselves. Make presentations more conversational and formal. Avoid stereotypes. Get women's perspectives. Encourage them to speak up. And use gender-based images. I think I'll stop here, but thank you so much all for your answers.
Yes, thank you very much, Anna. Otherwise, I'm enjoying it, but otherwise we'll stay here forever and ever. So I want to start with 3 principles of gender-sensitive communication. There are lots of them, but I want to just mention 3 today. Language plays a critical role in how we interpret the world, including how we think and behave. Word choices, the words we use, often reflect unconscious assumptions about values, gender roles, and abilities of women and men. So now let's consider a few, just these 3. And you mentioned it, during facilitation, ensure that you are adequately engaging both genders. And remember to take contributions from both men and men. So if you realize people are not speaking, let's use all the techniques we know. Put them, even if it's online, put them in groups, breakout rooms, smaller rooms. The people will speak. If it's face-to-face, you can have your gallery walk, silent brainstorming technique. You can also do a relay technique where you ask everyone to contribute to an answer that is neither yes or no, or an answer that is, ask a question that has no wrong or right answer for opinion. It's easier for people if they are shy to speak up. That is, even if it's a man and he's shy, or a woman that's shy, using these techniques help. And it's also important to ensure that quotes from both men and women are included in examples and the case studies and other materials that you use. So be intentional about these things. Now, I'd like to ask a question. I don't want you to type your answer in the chat box. You can type your answer in the chat box. But I will say, when I say send, then you all send at once, because I want Anna to have a fair idea of the percentages. So please, I'm going to read you a question. You can type your answer, but don't send it. Don't hit send until I say so. Are we on the same page, please? If we're on the same page, please give me a yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So now I'd like to ask you a question, and please think about it and write the answer for me. A father and son were in a car accident where the father was killed. The ambulance brought the son to the hospital. He needed immediate surgery. In the operating room, a doctor came, looked at the little boy and said, I can't operate on him. He's my son. Who is the doctor?
Well, the answer is mother. It came from Lalinda.
Because the instructions were not followed. And I'm happy that my trainers get it, because they are facilitators, so they get it. Most of the time when you ask this question, people are stuck and they are saying, who is the doctor? They can't think of the fact that it's a mother, because they think of a doctor as a man. You'll be surprised. You see, you'll be surprised. A lot of people don't even consider a woman. They don't. So challenge gender stereotypes, because nurses are women. I love this. Nurses are women and doctors are men. You see, it's important to avoid using these as gender stereotypes, limit and trivialize both women and men, presenting inaccurate images. I have sat in a training where a male facilitator told us that we all know women are timid. And I was like, wow, I didn't know women were timid. Similarly, one should avoid using phrases. Yeah. Similarly, one should avoid using, no, it's okay to say a man, the child, the other one is the father. But some don't think about a woman at all. That's my point. Sometimes you ask and nobody in the room, nobody considers a woman also. So you should consider, yes. So we should consider both. But sometimes in a room, nobody considers a woman. I'm responding to the chat box from Carol and others. But similarly, one should also avoid using phrases that stereotype women or men's behavior or processes. So I just wanted to point out to you that you could also say, is it a woman? Sometimes it's shocking when in a room, nobody says it could be a woman. And let's use relevant examples and analogies. Use relevant examples or analogies to respond to questions or illustrate the concepts that you are teaching. You see, I have an experience to share. In Sierra Leone, we trained some women farmers, and the trainer said, and that was in McKinney, the trainer talked about depreciation, and during the snack break, it was amazing. The women were laughing, and they called me, and I was wondering, what is it? And there was this old lady who stood in the middle and said, they knew me 15 years ago, and I'm telling them now that I have depreciated because the years that I have lived on earth have taken their toll on me. And she was showing everyone her picture and saying, look how much I have depreciated in value. It was funny, but at the same time, we realized that because the trainer was able to cite examples and draw connections and move them from the known to the unknown, they had gotten the concept. So please, let's bear this in mind when we are facilitating. And I love this, creating a gender-inclusive learning environment. So you should consider gender-balanced facilitation when offering programs targeted at women. So you see, it is important. It's important that we communicate in a respectful manner. We set our ground rules. We ask participants and peers for suggestions. So don't only set the ground rules. Ask participants what other ground rules they would want to add on. So I want to ask you a question. Please answer in the chat box. So what if it's an online training and you hear a participant's child crying in the background? What would you do? Please pop your answers in the chat box. So the participant hasn't muted themselves and you can hear their child crying in the background. What would you do?
That's a tricky question, Margaret. Let's see. Lalinda says pause. Say we have a new participant who needs attention. Respond immediately with assistance. Excuse them to go and attend to the crying child. Express empathy to the mother and pause. Good answers. Thank you. Try to comfort the child. Ask them to mute and pause for a while. Remind everyone to mute themselves. Address the entire group without bias. If you're wanting them to participate, cover for them, knowing they will need a minute. I guess I will stop here, Margaret. These are all very good answers.
Yes, these are all very good answers. And you remember, I just spoke about the ground rules too. So it is important that we set the ground rules, but these things sometimes happen. And as a facilitator, an online facilitator, you could mute the woman. You could just mute her. You have the option of muting her and sending her a message, a private message to say, oh, I can imagine. Please take your time. I know you want to listen in. I have muted you. When you're ready, just tell me, and I will make sure that when you want to talk, I will unmute you. You can do that to make her feel okay. So if you mute her, let her know that you have muted her. Are we on the same page here, please? If you are, just give me your yeses in the chat box. So, and interactions with male facilitators, this is also another important thing. And I cite this example whenever I train. If it's face-to-face, I had been taught as a facilitator to go in early, welcome participants as they come in. And there I was, my first training session out of Ghana. I stood out smiling, and I was in a Muslim community. And the first man that entered, I stretched my hand. I wanted to say, hello, my name is Margaret Jackson. I talked to the guy who looked me. He looked at me and then didn't also stretch his hand. The second person did the same. The third person, and I said, why is the man snubbing me? Why is he so snobbish? Then a lady entered and she saw me, she smiled and she said, we don't do that here. Our culture is different. So a good TNA will tell you this. So consider this. In certain environments, you can't put men and women together. You need to consider that. In certain environments, if you're having an energizer and the men have to dance, they will not dance in front of women. These are things that we need to consider. Have you experienced this before? If you have experienced this before, please pop it in the chat box. Others want to hear about your experience too. And then the provision of sanitary towels. It can't be emphasized. Please, we need to make sure that if women are coming into our training, we put in sanitary towels to make them feel comfortable. When we tell women that we have sanitary towels available for them, please pop in the chat box for me. When do you think we should make women aware of the fact that we have sanitary towels?
Put them out in the restroom at the beginning of the session.
Yeah.
During the planning stage.
Yeah.
Put it in the restroom. Yeah.
So we are all. So Anna, we are all spot on. Anna, you know my work has been very easy today. Anna, you see my work has been very easy today because the facilitators are seasoned facilitators. So now let's move on to after training. So now you have brought women in. You made them feel comfortable. What should we be doing after training to ensure that women come into our workshop? So now in chat box, please pop into the chat box. What are some things a trainer can do after a training program to ensure that women keep attending our training?
Well, here's the answer from Carol. Follow up on the learning. Carol is a specialist in that. Keep in touch with attendees by sharing information. Do checkups, evaluation, follow-up calls. That's coming from Martin. Appreciate them. Keep in touch. Follow up, provide coaching, mentoring, networking opportunities, encourage to participate. I'm not sure if I would treat women attendees different from men. So that's one answer. Create a distribution list. Keep the contact on WhatsApp, for example. All right, Margaret, I will stop here. These are all great answers. Over to you.
Okay. Anna, thank you very much. And I want us to look at this. And I don't know if I'll be able to. You see, let's provide job aid. In addition to all that you said, let's also provide job aid for improving, why do I say this? You see, once people are back on the job, it is not uncommon for people to forget specific steps or procedures to follow in the new skill sets that they went in for when they got into the training room. If this has happened to you before, please be honest. You've been to a training, you were so excited. Then after training, you get back to the workplace and you realize that you've forgotten some of the steps. If this has happened to you before, please give me a yes. Especially for skills that are used infrequently, the process may not become easy. If this has happened to you before, then listen to this. Let's make sure we don't allow it to happen to others. To prevent frustration, job aids can be provided. You see, when you provide it, list the steps one after the other. Include screen captures of field entries or examples of properly completed tasks. So give them pictures. Do things. Make sure that the instructions are up to scratch. Women SMEs owners are, they are time constrained, and a greater proportion of them run businesses that are less likely to have full-time, let's say, bookkeeping staff or formalized accounting processes. Financial management can be a significant burden, you see, and so automation can help women SMEs operate more efficiently and put them on that path to access finance tools that make it easy for them to prepare and organize cash flows, transactions, activities, and other relevant data. So these tools, you see, so aside job aids, give them tools. This is something that Third City Monument Bank, FCMB in Nigeria, they partnered with Systems Tech. And Systems Tech is a leading local payroll solution company in Nigeria to develop a proprietary solution called FCMB Payroll. Now let's look at what this does. This service removes pain points around payroll processing and record keeping that are common to SMEs. It also includes direct deposit options for both bank accounts and mobile wallets. So you see, FCMB Payroll provides the bank with richer view of business transactions, which in turn allows them to offer customers faster, smoother access to credit with streamlined terms and requirements. So it's a win-win situation. It's a win-win situation here. So you could, even if you are a facilitator and you can't do tools, provide job aid. When you talk to your clients, the big clients, you can sell this idea to them, and it will become a win-win situation. And they can also assign women mentors and coaches to female participants. Aside all that you have said, it is important. I saw this at work with the Access Bank, the IFC Access Bank Womenpreneur program in Nigeria in the year 2019. The women entrepreneurs were linked to female coaches from the bank who helped them, who worked with them after training, and the testimonials that came back after that interaction was awesome. So if you haven't tried it before, I suggest you try it. And let's look at networking opportunities. You see, I want to state an example of what happened with BLC Bank in Lebanon, for example. It has a business education program, and this includes business and banking fundamentals, as well as networking opportunities to help women to meet, share ideas, and learn from each other. I would also like to share this example with you. With the same Womenpreneur program in Nigeria, Access Bank and IFC. You know, the bank helped the women to form a WhatsApp group, and it was supposed to be a networking opportunity for the women. Now listen to what came up on the WhatsApp group, and I'm a member of that WhatsApp group, about 2 weeks ago. There's this lady called, and I got her permission, this lady called Leslie Lentor. She was interviewed by the Nation's newspaper. And after her interview, she connected about 3 of her womenpreneur sisters. And the national newspaper called JD Recycling, their recycling company. They recycle waste. And this is what JD wrote on the platform, the group. We at JD Recycling, and I'm quoting her, really appreciate you for supporting women in business always. After this newspaper publication, we've had 2 companies call to sponsor our training of 15 women about recycling. So they are now training 15 women on recycling. Another TV station has contacted us for another interview about our product. Awareness about our product has increased. Thank you, Lenta. This is the only way to grow. Women supporting women. God bless you. Isn't that a beautiful story? Do you agree with me that it's a beautiful story? So let's form the network. Let's form the network. Let's form the network. You know, you can form your own WhatsApp group. You can encourage the women to form networks. How many of us have formed networks for our womenpreneurs? Oh, someone says she knows Lenta. Yes, that's what she did. And the testimonials. You know, the testimonials are also powerful. I say we can even use female participants. We can work with female participants who have benefited from the knowledge and skills that have been espoused during the training. They could be linked to those that have finished, and they can share their testimonials. But I also say that testimonials run through. You can allow female participants to share their testimonials before when you're advertising. You can bring them in to share their testimonials while you are training, and you can also send some over to work and give their testimonials to those that have recently completed your course. How many of us use testimonials? I want to know. I want to know. Please pop yes into the chat box if you're using testimonials. Also, Far says yes, Mandy says yes, Mehdi says yes, David says I do, Bruce says yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It is powerful. It is so powerful. And Professional Women Association, I will encourage you. Let's encourage our female participants to join Professional Women's Associations after training. It helps females connect with even more professionals in their field. This will help women to see value in your training sessions and will encourage them to keep attending your training sessions. You see, it will keep. Please give me a second. It will make women come because they see the value. If I see value in something, I don't mind paying to come for more because I want more. I want to grow my business some more. Women are often time constrained due to household. They also have they are also limited by social and cultural norms and laws that discourage economic independence. They may be less confident in their ability to start and grow a business. And women are also less likely to have networks. That's why I'm big on networks and mentors to support them on their journey. BLC Bank Lebanon women borrowers grew by 82% following the launch of its focus WE initiative. So please don't forget our women. They are less likely to have networks and mentors. So let's encourage them. Let's work with them. These gaps affect women entrepreneurs around the world. They are not a reflection of women and SMEs capability or potential. Please, they are the result of non-financial needs that, when met, can foster enterprise growth. So let's try and meet them. If we foster enterprise growth, we are making the world a better place in the long run. Have I given you enough reason why we should make this world a better place to fill this gap? If I have, please give me your yes, because all good things come to an end. And this session with me has come to an end. I can't say that I was able to treat all the all the issues because it's a 1-hour session, but it is to start the conversation. It is to make sure that you go back and try to be intentional about everything that you do. So now I would like you to share your key learning or one thing that you're going to go back and do differently. Could you kindly pop that into chat? And Anna will kindly read your key learning. Thank you very much. Anna, I think people want to know how they can become IFC trainers.
Yes, if you have any questions that are not related to this particular webinar, please contact me by email. My email is apecot@ifc.org. I would be happy to talk to you separately. Okay, so be intentional in choice of words. That's the answer that comes from Genevieve. Doing a gender-based TNA, that's from Martin. Importance of dress code, says Sonia. Provision of sanitary towels, in my take, that's from Nana. Women and networking, that's Sajid. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. Fatim says, never thought of sanitary towels, so I guess that will be another addition, another change. Martin says, gender-based advertisements. Akosua will challenge gender stereotypes and provide sanitary towels. Srinivas says, I have never really thought specifically about women during my training sessions. This is a good learning. I must learn to do this without sounding or looking too obvious. Nana says, plan my training now with women in mind. Post-training hand-holding. To be more conscious about sorry, the answers are jumping. To be more conscious about of women in training. Be more intentional about creating gender-inclusive training environments. Sanitary towels, I guess that was a hit. Be aware of the cultural norms of the trainees. Yeah, these are all very good answers.
So thank you very much for your contribution. When we started this webinar, I said by the end, you'll be able to identify actions that encourage women to attend our training programs, recognize actions that make women comfortable during programs, and discuss actions to motivate women to keep them attending programs. Have we been able to discuss all these that we said we would do from the beginning of this webinar? If we have, please give me a yes in the chat box.
I see lots of yeses, Margaret.
Okay, thank you very much. And I would like to share the references with you. Please, most of the material that I got I got from the gender supplement. If you go to the GLC website, and I know Anna has already supplied it, and you go down, you scroll down, and you look for the gender supplement. It can be found both in, please look at this, in both English and French. So please click on the language that you want if you are proficient in, and you will learn more. Because this is a 1 hour thing, it was a sort of teaser. If you want more, please go to the GLC site. Then let's look at this. And this is the document that Joanna was kind enough to talk about. And I believe that Anna popped the link in the chat box. Please click on the link, read it, and you will learn so much from this. And it was, when I read it, I was wowed. It was amazing. I picked the Kenyan example, KCB. You will come across a lot of examples that will help and enrich your training. So please click on those links and read and implement it. These are other links for my research. And so this brings me to the Q&A session. Anna, how many minutes do we have for the Q&A now?
We actually have quite a little time, Margaret. 15 minutes.
Oh, so, we were afraid. We made it, Anna.
Yeah, I know. I think we can even open a mic.
So, Anna, if you want to open mic, that's fine. But I'm here. I'm ready for your questions. So maybe let me show myself for you to know that I'm really ready for your questions.
Yeah. Yeah, so since we have so much time left,
your contribution.
Since we have so much time left, yeah, and thank you so much for your contributions. I mean, if you would like to speak, please let us know, and we will let you speak. I also wanted to mention that I just provided a link to the SurveyMonkey. So if you have any feedback, we would really, really appreciate it. We would love to hear from you, and please also suggest new topics. So please do participate actively in our webinars. Does anyone have any questions? But I see some of the comments. Fatma, thank you, Margaret, for a very engaging session, very insightful session. Here's a question. Would it help if it is women training, if it is a women training women instead of men? Margaret, what do you think? So instead of men, women are training women. The next question is, what has been your experience while training in companies as far as gender sensitivity is concerned?
Anna, I would take women training women. I do a mix because we have also said it's not because we want to leave the men behind, but what I have done intentionally is to make sure that we disabuse women's minds of certain areas, like if it's finance, and we have two separate, maybe strengthening your financial skills and maybe pricing, something that has a bit of calculation. I make sure that a woman also takes a session. So I think we shouldn't say, because yes, women appreciate it when women train them and they love it, but we should also blend it. I have trained women groups where I also brought in men to add a bit of flavor. So we are not saying only women. If you are holding an SME academy for only women, you have only women trainers. No, but make sure that the stereotyping is not done, that we don't bring men to teach certain subjects. And then there was a second question. I tried to put it down. In organizations, I believe that as a facilitator, you should set the tone and you should have a chat with. Oh, have I been able to answer the first one? I'm sorry. If I have, you can pop yes into the chat box. But I think that separating in an organization, it depends on the sort of organization. It depends on the culture. So I will say, do a good training needs assessment. If you do a good training needs assessment, it gives you an idea of what to do. It gives you an idea of whether to bring the men in to train the first, or to bring the women later, or to make them up by their restrictions and all that. So a good needs assessment, I can't just sit here and say, do A or B. It's not a one-size-fits-all. A good needs assessment will inform you as to what to do. Thank you.
Margaret, we have a few more questions. I will read them. So here's a question from Helen. How do you get around organizations who decide on their own what training they require without requesting a needs assessment? I guess this is not specifically related to women issue, but it's still pretty relevant.
So she's saying, how do you get organizations to train without a training needs assessment?
Yeah, so my understanding is that an organization decides on a topic without conducting a training needs assessment. So how do you work with such organizations?
To be honest with you, I have worked with such organizations by conducting my own TNA. Sometimes by doing that, you convince them of the need for a TNA, and they come to appreciate it. And later on, when they call you for another opportunity, they will definitely pay for a TNA. So I have worked in a pharmaceutical company before. They called me in, they gave me their topic, and they said, it is our topic. And I said, but have you done a training needs assessment? How did you come about it? There wasn't much. So what I did was I went into the organization, did observation for some time, to observe them at work, because I was going to train on conflict and wanted to really make sure that it was really conflict management that they needed, because they hadn't really done any assessment. Then I also did a little bit of focus group discussion, and finally gave them a good course. Because yes, I noticed that it was conflict management, but the issues that they wanted me to emphasize on, to stress on, were not the issues that came up when I did the TNA. So even though I was going to train on conflict management, I was going to emphasize on the non-essentials. So, well, that's my philosophy. Try it, see if it works for you. I do it sometimes, and it pays, because then they realize that you really know what you're about. Then you say, this time I'll do it for you, but next time I'm going to charge you for it. Thank you.
Margaret, we have a couple more questions. Here's a question from Monira. What are the most topics required for women in the new normal? What do you think?
I would like others to also share in the chat box. I think it's also for the women entrepreneurs. It's about leadership. It's about critical thinking. It's about emotional intelligence. It's about all the topics that have been predicted by L&D specialists as the topics that we should be looking out for entrepreneurs. I think these are the topics that are because with our women entrepreneurs, we always make sure we do financial literacy, but we should do leadership. We should do critical thinking. We should do emotional intelligence. All the surveys point to those skills are critical for the year 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Here's another question. Is there any difference between women's sensitivity from English women speakers versus French women speakers? What do you think, Margaret?
Anna, to be honest with you, I don't have an answer for that question. I don't know much about the women French speakers, but I think women are the same all over, and I think we have the same challenges. So I don't really think there's a difference. I don't. Anna, what do you think? I don't.
Yeah, I think it's kind of. No. I'm thinking. As far as women are concerned, I think there is a little bit of kind of a cultural difference, maybe not so much language-based, but cultural difference, right? Okay. So even English speakers in different countries, I don't know, maybe they can have different issues.
Yeah.
The same with French.
Yeah, but I think respecting women is respecting women. Being sensitive to their needs in the facilitation room is making sure we provide sanitary towels is the same. And women not having access to finance as their male counterparts is the same when you read the study. So there are just little nuances here and there. But broadly speaking, I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe we may do the same.
All right, Margaret, here's another interesting question. How would you ensure there is gender consideration in an event where cultural beliefs are dominant? For example, where women don't sit together with men or talk in front of them. How should we deal with this situation?
So I believe that if men do not sit, you see, we don't go in to disrupt what's in people's culture. We want to bring everyone on board. So that's why we said that we need to consider the restrictions. So if there are restrictions and you need to hold separate sessions, hold separate sessions. If they want to hold the same, that's why for me a TNA is critical. You talk to opinion leaders, you talk to the women, you talk to the men, and you make sure that everybody is happy in your sessions. You may have to separate them. You may have to bring them together and have some at the back, or maybe you bring them in, but you know what to do. You can allow them to sit in a way and encourage people to speak. So there are different things. I think Fatma said something, and I agree with Fatma. So if you look at the situation, then you make sure that you don't offend people.
Margaret, here's a question from Facilitators. Do you think there will be a time when there will be no dichotomy between men and women?
Come again.
Do you think there will be a time when there will be, maybe I'm mispronouncing it, when there will be no dichotomy between men and women?
We are hoping for that. We are hoping for that, and I'm sure we'll get there. What do you think? I wish I could ask the person who asked it, because they also think. I think we'll get there, but I'm wondering if it's in my time.
Margaret, here's an excellent question from Srinivas. How do you handle hecklers? I mean, men who make sexist comments during a session.
Oh, I've had this before, and just like you work with your participants with special needs, sometimes you call them aside and you have a chat with them. I think it works best. So you don't also embarrass them. You make sure during a break you call them and have a chat. And when this is happening, you should also, and that's why ground rules are also important. You can enforce your ground rules. Yes, Yvonne, you're right. You can enforce your ground rules. I'll get into that. It's important to set the ground rules and enforce the ground rules. So call people aside to have a chat with them when there's a break, if it persists.
Yes, and Fatma says,
Fatma,
I would treat this just like any other challenging participants. Set the tone.
Yeah, ground rules. Thank you, Fatma.
And here's a question, and I think that will be our last question today. Do you think educated women from urban areas relate well with rural women who are not literate? What do you think, Margaret? That's a question from Asigid.
I consider myself an educated woman who lives in an urban area, but I love it, and I think I treat my women in the rural areas well when I meet them, and I think most women do. Now, we are helping each other. I think we do. I think there's a misconception out there that women do not help. We help ourselves. We treat them better. That's my opinion. That's how I see it.
Yeah, so I just wanted to thank everyone once again for joining us today. If you have more questions and if you raise a question in chat that we haven't answered, feel free to email us. I believe that everyone by now knows my email because I'm the one who usually shoots out lots of emails. And I also just reposted the link to SurveyMonkey, so please let us know how we're doing, and if you have any questions, comments, or requests for us, we're always here for you. Margaret, thank you so much for a very insightful presentation. It was a pleasure. And I would like to stop here and wish everyone a good night or a good day, depending on where you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.